Hi, I'm Michael Sansolo, and this is Shopping with Michael. We've got a really interesting show for you today. Are you one of the many shoppers who like walking the aisles of your favorite store and tasting all those great samples it's put out for you to try? Well, it's a lot of fun, but it's also good business, and we're going to explain why. Next, have you ever wondered where all those products in the store come from? How many miles do they have to travel just to get to your supermarket shelf? And should you opt for locally sourced products? The answers might surprise you. And finally, we recently found some exciting new store brand products that we'd like to share with you. But first, this message.
Who makes store brands? We hired a famous detective to find out. He snooped here, and he snooped there. And what he found was, in many cases, the same company that made the national brand made the store brands too. Wow! Then he found that many store brands are made by manufacturers who specialize in store brands, experts in working with retailers to give you great products at great savings. Wow! But most important, he found that store brands have to meet the same government standards as the national brands. What's the difference between store brands and national brands? Usually, only the price. Store brands. Be your own detective.
Welcome back. When you go to the supermarket, I wonder if you do what I do. Frequently, when I go in, I notice there are all these sampling stations spread out around the store, some days more than others. And frankly, I like to eat my way around the store. You may do the same. First of all, it's free food. We all love that. And secondly, we get to try some stuff we may not ordinarily eat. But while you're at the sample station, if you really like what they're serving, see what else they can help you with. I find these days, a lot of sample stations will have recipe cards. So you've got the food, you taste it, and you can get the recipe to show you what I need to buy to make this and exactly how to do it. One of the other things I do is I like to talk to the people at the sample station, ask them how they're making it. They may have some tips, like how to use your microwave or the stovetop, whatever it could be. I'm not the best cook, so those kinds of tips help me produce the item better than I ever would have done it. So the sample station becomes more than just free food. It becomes ideas, it becomes recipes, and it becomes tastes. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So we're talking about sampling, and with me today is Ryan James D. And Ryan, I know you work on this all the time, so let's start with the basics. Why is sampling so popular with shoppers? Is it that I'm getting free food, or is there more to it?
Well, certainly that. I mean, food is fun, but it really helps remove that risk from the consumer's mind and from the shopper's mind. That if I'm curious about this pretzel bread or the chicken sausage, or maybe even seeing how it all comes together, by being able to taste it, it's removing that risk. And now I can enjoy it and say, yeah, I like all this, it's going in the basket.
So you guys will actually look. So let's say I live and I'm in a Hispanic neighborhood. I guess we'll get certain kinds of foods that work for me as a Hispanic, but I'll see different things if I go to different stores. So the sampling is thought out the same way the products on the shelves are thought out, I guess.
Exactly right.
By the way, people ever come into a store and just eat their way through the store? Is there a limit as to how many samples I can take?
So no, there's no limit, and if it gets you to buy the product, and it took you 6 samples to get there, it still worked. But yeah, there's definitely shoppers out there that come to our events and come in hungry, and they know that they're going to hit 20 sampling tables, and by the time they're done with their shopping experience, they're full.
I'm up with that.
We're on board with that.
That sounds good. Well,
yeah.
That's a whole lot of insights on sampling. Ryan, thank you so much. We got some stuff here to eat. We'll be right back. One of the hottest trends out there right now is this notion of eating local. You probably have heard this phrase, locavore, for people who want to eat all their foods grown somewhere near where they live. Now, the local trend is a really, really interesting trend, but there is tremendous confusion over what it means and what it's not. Let's start with a simple fact. Unless you live in certain parts of the United States or in other countries right near where the farms are, you really can't eat local. You might be in the northern part of the United States where the growing season is pretty short. So yeah, you can buy local product at certain times of the year, but it's not an option for the rest of the year. And the other thing that gets really confusing is, what does local mean? Some shoppers would say, I want everything grown within 100 miles of where I live. Others would say 500 miles. So it's kind of a vague term, but it's an interesting concept. However, if we break it down, you might find there are good reasons to eat local and certain products at some times of the year, and at other times of the year, eating local may be the exact opposite of what you want to do. Wherever you live, there is a growing season, and you might want to pay attention to local products. What do farms around you grow? And at those times of the year, try to buy those products. But some of those products, when they go out of season, might have to travel a long way into where you get. And so you might determine that, hey, I live on the East Coast. California is local as opposed to getting it from another country. Or getting it somewhere in the Americas is more local than getting it from another part of the world. The key is you can make the decision based on the products you're buying and the time of year. There may be times frozen products are actually the most environmentally friendly way to shop. Other times it could be from a local farm stand. So as you're in the store and you're thinking about how you buy products and where they come from, there's a lot of information you can look for. Again, in season, you can look for those local products. Out of season, are there trade-offs that you can make so that you might be able to buy a product that's more environmentally friendly than another? For instance, frozen versus fresh. Or there are other times you might want to think, I want domestic as opposed to international. It's an interesting trend, and it's one a lot of folks are trying. But at this point, there's a lot of guesswork still out there. So keep your eyes open, and you may be able to do a little bit more local and a little bit more smarter shopping. You might not know this, but the average supermarket actually has somewhere around 40,000 different items in it. That is a whole lot of products for you to choose from. And here's the key. New products are constantly appearing on the shelves. So when you're shopping, you got to keep your eyes open because there's always new tastes and new things to try. I've been looking around lately and I picked up a couple of items that I found that I thought you might find interesting, either in the way they taste or the way they're prepared. Let's start with these. Now this is a kind of bread, and you see this in a lot of stores. It's usually called take and bake. You buy the package of bread and it's not fully baked. It's really cool. You take it home, simple instructions, put it in the oven, and when you take it out, you've got fully baked bread. Look at the difference in color. And imagine that great smell in your kitchen, and you can tell everybody you baked the bread, because in essence you did. Easy to do, and you got this great tasting item. Now here's another thing, and I only recently learned this. There are folks out there, they call them chili heads, because they like to find the hottest sauces imaginable. There is actually this scale for the heat that you will find in hot sauce. It's called the Scoville scale. And here's all you have to know. A bell pepper ranks 0 on that scale. It's got no spiciness at all. If you're going to use jalapenos, you're talking into the thousands, maybe tens of thousands. So in your store, you're going to find a lot of different kinds of sauces. I mean, here I've got chimichurri. This is a sauce, comes from South America, really popular to use on fish and on chicken, gives you a whole new flavor. Here's an organic jalapeno sauce, and we've got ones, different levels of spiciness. I'm going to try the most mild one because, frankly, I don't want to choke while I'm talking to you. Wow, it just explodes in my mouth. It's got a really nice taste, and this one is actually marked mild. So if you're cooking something, and you want to give it a mild, zesty taste, you come to something like mild hot sauces. Tons of choices again, and if you're making different cuisines, whether it's Indian or Thai or Mexican, you'll find the sauces to go with it. When you're out shopping, you keep your eyes open, you look for new ideas, and you will constantly find them. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned some new ways to look at products in your favorite store. This is Michael Sansolo.